When you see me wearing the same clothing in 2 or 3 different videos, you'll know that it is my day to catch up, get ahead, and schedule early. See how I do. See how many of these in a row I'm wearing the same outfit, and then you'll know how I did. It's a little hint. Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, or welcome if you are new to my channel. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I keep watching and seeing all of this wonderful stuff happen here on YouTube, and it's just the best place to be. So thanks so much for joining me today and always if you choose to do that. Today is my March haul. So I have a good number of books to show you today. And the first one is not a book I'm keeping, but I just wanted to share it with you because it is that season and maybe you have the same experience that I'm having in my life. And that is I have a little one graduating from his preschool slash daycare that he's had for a number of years. And he will be going to kindergarten in the fall. My little Maddox. I can't believe it. And we wanted to get him a gift for his graduation. And I chose one of my favorite authors. So I'm going to share this with you. And Addie, his sister Addie, if you're watching this, do not tell Maddox what I bought him. Okay? Thank you. This is Will the Pigeon Graduate by Mo Willems. Mo Willems is one of my favorite authors, one of my daughter's favorite authors, the teacher, but I think generally I don't know anybody that doesn't like Mo Willems. And so I love it. It says, I have the hat. But apparently there's a little concern that the pigeon won't graduate because maybe he's been slacking off. He is concerned about some things that have happened. He's concerned about what will happen then. He's a little anxious about graduation. So I don't think Maddox is anxious about graduation, but we're sure looking forward to being with him as he wears his cap and gown and passes on to kindergarten. Let me know if you have anybody graduating this year, whether it's a little one or a larger one. We have our oldest granddaughter is graduating from high school this year and going to college. So that's a little bit crazy for us. I just can't with that, but it is the truth. The first one on my list that I purchased actually was Sherry LaPina's What Have You Done? This is an author that I usually auto buy. I'm not finished with all of her novels yet, so I have another one I just talked about in a video that goes out before this one. And then I have this one, and then I think she has another one coming out fairly soon. She's pretty regularly scheduling these releases. These are mystery thrillers, oftentimes set in neighborhoods, and this one is also the same. This is Fair Hill, I think. Is it Fair Hill? Fair Hill, Vermont. Everybody kind of knows each other. They take care of their kids. They see each other frequently. All these things really just play out into your regular happy neighborhood until Diana Brewer is found lying in a hayfield circled by vultures. Clearly, that is a creepy way to open this up. And I guess what happens next is who is it that was responsible for this? Because everyone knows that someone in Fair Hill did this, and everybody wants answers about that. And I think that sounds really good. Then I went to a wrap up from Fabled, which is a bookstore in Waco, Texas. They do an online sort of new releases preview as well as some other booksellers do. And I'm connected to Fabled because I actually have them as my bookseller to receive the support from my Libro.fm books that I purchase, but also because I am a member of Currently Reading Bookish Friends podcast, and Meredith and Elizabeth Barnhill from Fabled talk about books that are murder mysteries every month. And this one is an author that I haven't read yet, but this is an Icelandic Nordic noir novel by Karen Gerdhardsson, and it was the weekly Publishers Weekly Best Mystery Book of 2021. So I'm going to read this to you because it's really well done. January in Gotland. The days are short, the air is cold, and all the roads are covered in snow. On a deserted, icy back road, these wintry conditions will soon bring together a group of strangers with a force devastating enough to change their lives forever when, in the midst of a brief period, a deadly accident and two separate crimes leave victims in their wake. That was a long sentence. 4 years later, a single phone call is all it takes to bring back the terror of that day and to set in motion a plot for revenge. For Sandra, it started out as an unremarkable wintry day of shopping, followed by a kind gesture from a stranger. For Jeanette, it began with the thrill of an illicit rendezvous with her lover. Both women had driven past the same icy ravine, but only one was in the car that caused a deadly crash, and only one left a man to die alone in the snow. Each carried a secret from that day, a secret that, if revealed, could connect them to a larger, more terrible transgression. And there's someone out there who knows the whole picture and who would rather kill than allow it all to come into the light. So this is chilling and atmospheric. Sounds great to me. I don't care if it's not January. I could pick this up anytime, but I've never read anything by Karen Gerhardsen, but I do trust Ragnar Jonasson to share with me his recommendations. This is an author I have read before, but I'd like to read more of. This is a new release that came out in March. It's called, obviously, The Quiet Librarian. So this one, a murder occurs for this woman's best friend. She's a librarian, the woman whose friend died, Hannah Bobbick, middle-aged librarian in Minnesota, one of my favorite states. My family is from Minnesota on my mother's side. She gets some news from a detective that her best friend has been murdered, and she knows something terrible is also coming for her because she and her friend had a secret from the past. I loved the book I read by Alan Eskin, which was The Life We Bury. Do I want more of Alan Eskin? Absolutely. Next, let's talk about what I acquired next, but also they have this in common. Both of these came from a little free library. So I grabbed out of my little free library and plan to return the Magic School Bus chapter book called Voyage to the Volcano. It was very lovely, by the way. Spoiler alert. I'll talk a little bit about more of it when I do the reading wrap-up video, but this is a middle grade March read for me. And then I also grabbed this, which is a better copy of The Likeness than I had by Tana French. Have I read anything by Tana French to completion? No, but I have this one and I have the first one. And so I'm not going to buy way into the series. I feel like I'm going to give at least 1 and 2 a shot. I like this because it's set in Ireland and it is Cassie Maddox, the detective, who's the kind of the key player in these that are all connected to the Dublin Murder series canon. So Cassie finds a young woman who's dead and she's actually looks just like Cassie. And she's carrying an ID identifying herself as Alexandra Madison, which is an alias that Cassie used to use on a different job. So this sounds really creepy and also very good. And I just needed a better copy of this than the one that I had because that also came from the little free library, but it was in terrible shape. So this is much better. I went on a search for more of these copies of this particular Kate Morton series. This is the Sophie Alport bind up, and this is published by Pan Macmillan, and I've showed you several of these. The Distant Hours is a letter lost for 50 years will unearth a family's deepest secrets. Edie Burchill and her mother have never been close, but when a long-lost letter arrives with the return address of Milderhurst Castle, Kent, printed on its envelope, Edie begins to suspect that her mother's emotional distance masks an older secret. Almost all of Kate Morton's are dual timelines, and this one is no exception. I just really think that this will be a good read, and I love these versions, so I have to collect in that version even if I read them in a different way. I then went on a bit of a cozy journey. I wanted to get, which I talked about in that other video too, Wined and Dined in New Orleans, which is book 2 by Ellen Byron, from the read along that we did for the Mardi Gras readathon that we hosted, Kat and I, again this year. And this was Ellen Byron's first novel, was the one that we chose, but this is set in New Orleans. Fun. There's a bunch of wine dumped over on the front cover of this. I love these cozy covers. This is the vintage cookbook series, and it's second in that mystery. And if I like it, I'll keep going with it. We'll see. But I wanted to give another one a shot, and this was available to me fairly easily. Then I was also looking at some videos from Tiffany at Beach Bum Bookworm, I think is her channel. The Beach Bum Bookworm. I think so. And she was talking about this book, Cheddar Off Dead by Karina Moss. Often a cozy will end up on my shelves because to me it's just a really clever title, and this one was no exception. This is first in the cheese shop mystery. She interviewed Karina on her channel after I purchased this, but I hadn't read it yet. So I haven't watched that yet. Obviously, I will get to that when I have, but this is about cheesemonger Willa Bauer, who's proving that sweet dreams are made of cheese. Cheesy, I know. She's opened a French-inspired cheese shop called Curds and Whey in the heart of the Sonoma Valley. This small town of Yarrow Glen is Willa's fresh start. She's determined to make it a success, and she gets a visit from a local food critic who never gives a good review, which is frightening to her, but then she finds the critic is killed. So she's going to help figure that out because she doesn't want it to look like she killed him, right? Because she got a review that wasn't so great. Blackwell's in the UK. I ordered Taking Manhattan by Russell Shorto, The Extraordinary Events That Created New York and Shaped America. We talked about this before. I was going to interview Russell. We met and we started to prep for the interview, and he decided, and I agreed, that I should probably read this first before we talk. So we will do that. I think that'll work out. But I am excited about this nonfiction title that finally came to me. I ordered something else from Blackwell's, but it's a release that comes out in April, so I'll tell you about that soon. 1664 England, Dutch-controlled city of New Amsterdam on Manhattan Island. Yes, I really think this will be fun, and he's written a number of books that are set around that same place, so nonfiction, all nonfiction from him. Next, a friend of mine who had a little book nook here at an antique galleria has announced to us last week she moved, and she had been keeping it up for a bit and realized that that was not going to work so easily for her. So she sent a message out to us who had been her patrons to let us know that she was putting some stuff on sale for 80% off so she could get the little nook closed down. Sad to us. Also, though, I did get a set of books that are in a series that I'm going to share later separately because they're just so cute, but very, very cheap. But I did want to share this one, which is an Alifair Burke novel, 212. This is an author I've been wanting to read, and I decided to go ahead and get a cheaper copy of this and see if I like it, and then I'll decide whether or not I want to, go on. But this would have been, I don't even know, 80% off of $5. It's a lot. New York University sophomore Megan Gunter finds personal threats posted to a website, and she's worried about this happening. So she's trying to get the police to intervene and make sure that she is safe, and they say that they can't. She is then murdered, and Ellie Hatcher, who is an NYPD detective, is convinced that these threats are more than just empty words. So yeah, I guess so, if she was found dead. So she has a partner named J.J. Rogan, and they tried to identify who might have killed Megan. If you do read Alifair Burke, let me know. I know a lot of friends of mine do, actually, and the usual suspects have done a bit of a review, one-word review or two-word review on the back. On Libro.fm, I bought 2 books. One was on sale for $3.50, and that's the Millicent Quibb School of Etiquette for Young Ladies of Mad Science, which is written by Kate McKinnon. I also got it from my library, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to this sooner than later. But my partner wanted to read it too, so I went ahead and purchased it on Libro.fm. You too can learn to find and care for unnatural animals, design and build mad machines, and identify and use maniacal minerals. So this is written by Kate McKinnon, who was on Saturday Night Live for a long time, Gertrude, Eugenia, and Dee Dee, which is one of the names my sister goes by. Three sisters who don't belong in this snooty town of Antiquarium, not with their snotty adopted family and not at their snobby etiquette school where brooches outnumber books and manners outweigh morals until one day they receive a mysterious invitation from the infamous Millicent Quibb, a mad scientist with oysters in her bathtub and pickled brains on her bookshelf. And the pizza there is fatal at the Millicent Quibb School of Etiquette. The bus is powered by gerbils, and the dean of students is a hermit crab. Dangerous? Yes. More fun than they've ever had? Absolutely. I think this will be fun. They say that it's really great to listen to Kate McKinnon narrate it, which is why I decided to get it on Libro.fm. So I also got The Heart of Winter by Jonathan Evison. I had read again and again last year for a book club and really enjoyed his work. So when this one came out, which I think it was released in March, I went ahead and grabbed it. This one is about a couple named Abe and Ruth, and they've been together since high school or college. It's been a really long time, and they've had some ups and downs in their relationship. But Ruth finds something happening with her health, and so they have to come together in a different way, and she loses her independence while I guess Abe has to maybe do some more caregiving. And it sounds great and hard, and I really enjoyed Again and Again, which was great and hard. So there you go. I mean, I think that this will be right up my street. I think we're maybe going to read it for book club again this year, so that would be fun, I think. Then we go to the Kindles. This one is If Tomorrow Never Comes, which was a Amazon reader's first choice or first reads. That's what I think it's called. And you get to choose from a number of books that are about to come out. And so this one is by Allison Ashley. I loved this cover, but I really loved this synopsis. I think this is a romance. So I'm still on that kick. This one is about Elliot, who has leukemia, and she's about to have a stem cell treatment. And the night before the stem cell treatment, she decides to just live it up. And if things go well, then she'll just enjoy her life. And if things don't go well, she will have had this fun night. And so she meets a man named Jamie. Their chemistry is pretty high. They connect, they have a one night stand, and then they part ways, and she goes on with her treatment. A year later, however, Elliot's leukemia is in remission. She's feeling great. She's living her life wild, and she meets the person who donated her stem cells to support Elliot's recovery. Her name is Carly. And she meets up with Carly, and they strike up a conversation, and she discovers that Carly's boyfriend is Jamie. I don't know what happens, but I think I'm in for it. So this is the one I grabbed. And I really almost picked it up already, but I'm trying to read a couple of things on my backlist, so I have not picked it up. That is the first one I got. Then I went for The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. And I have looked at this book a number of times and said no to it a number of times. And this particular time it was available on Kindle Unlimited for me to read. So this one was published in March of 2019, the 1st of March. And it is a page-turning suspense about a young couple who are desperate to have a child of their own and the consequences of getting what they always wanted. So this is Christopher and Hannah. He's a surgeon. Hannah is a nurse. Everything's gone well, except they could not have a child. And Janie, an abandoned 6-year-old, turns up at the hospital. Christopher forms an instant connection with this child, and they decide to take her into their own home. But she has a lot going on inside of her, and Janie is fiercely devoted to Christopher, but she's not happy at all with Hannah. And so Hannah struggles to figure out what to do with this, and Christopher pretty much just ignores it because he absolutely adores this child. And Hannah is, of course, certain that something's really wrong with Janie. Yes, I've always wanted to read this, and it just happened to pop up that it was on Kindle Unlimited. The next one I got was The Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Lori Gilmore, which is the next one in this series. It was also released in March of 2025, so this is a new one. This is the Dream Harbor series, by the way. I always forget to say that. But this one is a new, very predictable romance. Usually somebody new comes to town or somebody that this person hadn't noticed before, and they connect. And in this case, they connect at the pancake house. And this is Archer, and he has a daughter named Olive, which to me is quite hilarious because there's a company that makes notebooks that I've purchased from called Archer and Olive. And Iris can't hold down a job, and she's really been kind of flaky. And so he decides to hire her as a live-in nanny, I think. Is it a live-in nanny? Yes. So now she's in a whole new space, and they are obviously living together to some degree. And so, you know what's going to happen. These are fun, campy, spicy, quick reads. I say yes so far to all of them. I don't know if I'll continue to say yes in the future. Murder by the Book by Lauren Elliott is another one I grabbed on Kindle Unlimited. This is a cozy mystery by an author I have not read before, but I have heard some people really like this, and I love books about books, as you all know. So this is about Addie Grayburn, another Addie in my life. My granddaughter will be pleased. Addie Grayburn had a tragedy happen where she used to live, and her fiance and her father were killed in a car accident. Her aunt then gives her, as an inheritance, the manor that she lived in Boston. So she moves for a brand new life in Boston to try to start all over again and be happy. Grayburn Manor is the name of this place, and she gets a job at the Boston Public Library, which I'm going to be visiting, I think, soon, maybe, at least Boston. I would love to go to the library as well. I love to go to libraries when I visit different places, and I've been there before, but not to the library. Nevertheless, Addie is discovering that some things are happening around her that are a little bit unsettling. Somebody almost runs Addie down with their car, and then her friend Serena, who owns the nearby tea shop, is arrested for murder. And so I'm sure Addie's going to help figure out what happened, and it seems like a great cozy for me, so I grabbed that. And then another Kindle read I purchased. This one is a short story collection, The Best American Mystery and Suspense of 2024. This was edited and curated by S.A. Cosby, which made it even more special to me because I had just finished a novel by S.A. Cosby. And this one is, I think it was 14 stories. Is that right? I may be wrong. I don't know why I think that. Came out in October of 2024. He in the synopsis, they refer to a couple that's a cryptic note left on a windshield, a murder for hire meets a game of mousetrap, a swipe right on a dating app goes horribly wrong, an 11-year-old drawn to the neighborhood spook house, scholarship kid in an exclusive boarding school, a nefarious old West gunman. Just goes on and on. I mean, that's what short stories are made to do, right? Like they're just beautiful and short. And the reason I grabbed this is because I have been thinking about my short story collections recently. I don't have a lot of them, but I'd like to get to them. I have one that Jesmyn Ward edited. I have another one that came from my sister, I think, a long time ago. And then when this one showed up, I thought somebody is telling you to read some short stories this year for sure. And I think it's kind of it's not as popular as it could be. I also just recently listened to a Charlie Gibson and his daughter's name, I can't remember. They did a podcast about Curtis Sittenfeld, who also has a new short story collection out. And I almost grabbed it the other day, and I said, don't overwhelm yourself until you decide if short stories are right for you again. But I did used to read a number of them when I was much younger, not even my teens, earlier than that. But this one really caught my eye because it's all mysteries and thrillers, and S.A. Cosby edited it. And I, again, was just sort of noticing how I'd like to get back to short stories this year. So that may be a challenge for me one of these months. Stay tuned, but I'm excited about this one. So let me share with you who some of the authors of these mystery thrillers are. Megan Abbott, Alyssa Cole, Tananarive Due, Abby Janney, Jordan Harper, Bobby Matthews, Lisa Unger. Yeah, these are great authors. I can't wait. Short stories are like little appetizers before the real meal, right? I mean, I think that they are. I just love them. And usually I can eat an appetizer and be satisfied. That could be my whole dinner. In fact, yesterday I ate a half of an appetizer and I was good to go. And another library book I grabbed was Olive Kittredge by Elizabeth Strout. Why, you ask? Is it because of your short story focus? Maybe. I didn't realize this was short stories until I got it from the library. The reason I grabbed it was because I saw the one that just came out and I talked about it in the anticipated review video, and I didn't want to get that before reading this first one, which was the one that sort of set it all off, right? It won the Pulitzer Prize, was very well received, and this really kind of cemented her as a new author. And I really just didn't know that this was short stories, not at all. But it's short, and it was available at my library, and I don't think I'll have trouble renewing it because I haven't started it yet. I've been just crazy busy. But I have till, I don't have long. But let's see if I like it. And if I like it, then I'll probably go on and read some of the others in the series of these same people. So I know that she writes about these people again in her other novels. But this one is set in Crosby, Maine. And a bunch of, I guess, townspeople are featured in this. So I mentioned before, but she is still an MFA program faculty member at Queen's University in Charlotte, which is where my daughter went to college. And so I'd like to give this a try. And she read Olive Kittredge, Boy Erased by Gerard Connolly. This one is a movie adaptation, is out now, but I have not seen the movie, so my plan is to read the book for book club and then watch it later. The movie stars Nicole Kidman and Russell Crowe, and it's directed by Joel Edgerton, which I really like Joel Edgerton as an actor. I like Nicole Kidman too, so I probably will watch the movie after we read it, but as a book club, we're going to read this. I have it on audio. It'll be a quick listen for me, hopefully. This is a memoir that Gerard has written about his experience as a 19-year-old when he was outed to his father, who's a Baptist pastor, and he is sent to a church-funded and church-supported conversion therapy program to turn him from gay to straight. So this is about his experience in that process, and I have always been curious about that experience and concerned about it. And so this would be a read that I can say I've been interested in this kind of thing for a long time. So I suspect it will be an easy, quick read for me. Hopefully he's in a great, safe space now. Let me know if you've read this or any of the books that I talked about today, or if you want to read them or are planning to read them, that they're on your TBR or your piles of possibilities. This was a great buying month for me. Am I going to buy as many in the month of April? Probably not. I hope not. I have a really great backlist bunch. This was not my best backlist month so far, so definitely need to get through that. But I'll be sharing a wrap up of what I read very, very soon. And then we will carry on with all the good things, all the good bookish things that we can share and discover together. So thanks again for your continuous support, for watching this video. And as always, happy reading. Bye.